Hello students, myself Nikita Jain. I will be teaching you a TYBMS SEM 6 subject for finance electives, that is taxation. So when I'm talking about taxation, what is the topic for the day? The topic for the day is documentation. Under documentation, we have invoice, we have bill of supply, we have credit note, we have debit note, we have receipt voucher, we have payment voucher, and we have refund voucher. And one more thing which is very important, that is Eway Bill. Okay, now understand when I say invoice. Invoice means what? It is to be issued by a normal registered dealer, a piece of paper which reflects that I have sold the goods and now the ownership of the goods has been transferred from me to you. This is the proof of the same, and also it also gives a proof of the amount. So invoice have some details which are compulsorily should be there in every invoice. That is the GSTN number, the name of the supplier, okay, the address, the date, the details, the description of the goods, the quantity, the amount, the HSN code, okay, and the signature. These are the valid documents, and the GSTN number. Every invoice should have your GSTN number, and in every invoice should have its own unique number. These are the compulsory things which have been required in an invoice. A sale is not being considered as a sale unless and until we issue an invoice. Can you claim input tax credit? You cannot claim input tax credit also if an invoice is not been issued. Okay. So this is the first thing when we talk about invoice. Invoice should be issued on time. We have already discussed in time of supply that when an invoice should be issued in case of goods at the time of removal of goods or at the time of delivery. In case of services, within 30 days from the date of provision of service. And in case of banking and financial service, within 45 days. Okay. Now let us talk about the next topic, that is bill of supply. When I say bill of supply, who issues bill of supply? Composite dealers. Okay, if you go to hospitals, you will find that hospitals do not issue invoice. They issue bill of supply. Why? Because composite dealers are not allowed to issue invoice because they are not allowed to collect GST. So instead of collecting GST, they collect bill of supply. Okay, so bill of supply is a proof. What do bill of supply does? It helps the composite dealers to understand or to calculate that aggregate total turnover, because they do not maintain the books of accounts. So how do they pay GST? They pay GST on the basis of their total bill of supply. They take out a percentage of their turnover, and according to that they pay GST at the rate 5%, 1% and 6%. Okay. When I talk about bill of supply contains the same details. That is the name, the address, the date, the bill of supply number, the quantity and amount. Okay. And also the HSN codes and GSTN number, because composite dealers also have to register themselves. Now let us talk about the next thing, that is credit note. Okay. Now credit note and debit note. For that we have to understand the journal entry. Okay. Let us go into accounts. When do we issue debit note? The person whom we supply the goods, they are our debtors because we have to receive money from them. So that's why they are being debited. Say for example, instead of receiving 5,000 from them, I have to receive 6,000. So first I debited them for 5,000. Now I will be debiting them for 1,000 because the total amount due is 6,000. So when do I issue a debit note? I issue debit note to my buyer because I have to receive the amount from them. The supplier issues a debit note to the buyer. Let us understand the same with the help of an example. We have Mr. A. Mr. A sold goods to Mr. B. When Mr. A sold the goods, the value of the goods was 50,000. But after 3 months, the value of the goods were being revised and they were 60,000 rupees. Both of them agreed to the same, and B said, I will be paying you 60 instead of 50. In this case, what will Mr. B will be doing? Will he again issue an invoice? No. He will issue a debit note to Mr. C. So, there are 7 cases when you issue a debit. When the quantity of goods measured by you is more than what it is being sold, when the amount of the goods increase, okay, and sometimes in case of interest and late penalty and fees also we issue a debit note, okay. This is what the scenario. Now the same goes with credit note. When do you issue a credit note? Say for example, I sold goods to Mr. C for rupees 5,000. out of that 1000 goods were being deteriorated, so he sent me back. Now I debited him for 5000, but he has to pay me only 4000 because 1000 he has returned back. In this case, what I will be doing, I will be issuing credit because I have to cancel it. So debit minus credit, almost 4000 rupees. When do you issue credit note? When the goods sent are deteriorated, are less in quantity, the rate is being changed. Okay, less in quantity is possible in which case? In case of gold, in case of petrol, okay, in case of other minerals. When you transport oil and minerals, or basically diesel, petrol, all those goods, sometimes the quantity decreases. If we transport goods from one destination to another, obviously certain minimal percentage of gas is going to leak. So obviously you have to issue a credit. It also happens in case of supply of electricity. When you're supplying electricity, you assume that on an average 5000 units you are going to supply. But sometimes you supply 5100, so you issue a debit. Sometimes you supply 4900, so you issue a credit. This is how the system works. Debit note is being issued when the goods are being supplied more or the rate increase. When do you issue credit note? When less quantity is being supplied or the rate decrease. Okay. Now we have the next topic to understand. What is the next topic which we have? Receipt voucher, payment voucher and refund voucher. Okay. Receipt voucher is being issued when the buyer makes you an advance payment. Okay. Payment voucher is being issued when you make the payment. Okay. And refund voucher when the advance is being cancelled. Let me explain you the same with the help of an example. Say for example, someone booked a hall and you are the owner of that hall. So when he makes the advance payment, what are you going to issue? You are going to issue a receipt voucher. Say for example, the contract get cancelled and you make the payment. Okay, you give the payment. What are you going to issue? You are going to issue a refund voucher. When are you going to issue a payment voucher? When you give the money. Okay, the contract is not cancelled but you give the money. Then in that case, what are you going to issue? You're going to issue a payment voucher. Okay. Now the last topic which we are going to understand is Eway Bill. It is very important to understand and very important topics from GST point of view. Eway Bill means what? It is a form which we have to fill when the goods are being transferred one destination to another. So what do I file? I file Eway Bill. Eway Bill is a document which I have to file online only on online portal. The document has been divided into two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A contains the details of the person, consignor and consignee. Part B contains the detail of the vehicle. Okay. So first consignor, consignee, name, address, details and everything. Vehicle, what is the number of the vehicle, what are the quantity of goods, what is the amount, what is the HSN code. Okay. What happened when Eway Bill is being filed? Every Eway Bill is valid for 1 day. Okay. For every 100 kilometers, you get an extension of 1 more day. That is additional 24 hours. So say for example, we are delivering goods from here to a destination which is 500 kilometers far. So the Eway Bill will be valid for how many days? For 5 days. Okay. This is what the scenario is. So if you want to cancel an Eway Bill, you can cancel it within 72 hours. If a person is registered, he is going to file the Eway Bill. Say for example, the supplier is not registered. Then who's going to file the Eway Bill? Obviously the buyer. Say for example, both of them are not registered. Then in this case, who's going to file the Eway Bill? Obviously the GTA, that is Goods Transport Agency. Now when I talk about Eway Bill, when you don't file Eway Bill, you don't file Eway Bill if the goods are being transferred from one destination to another in non-motorized vehicle. वो कौन सी होती है? वो हाथ गाड़ी. Simple. If the distance is less than 20 kilometers, if the goods are being transferred from custom area to custom warehouses or from ICD to custom areas, from SEZ unit to an SEZ unit, then you do not have to file Eway Bill. Okay. Sometimes what happens, the vehicle broke in between. In that case, what do? You do not alter the detail of part A, but you alter the detail of part B. Is it allowed? Yes, it is allowed because the vehicle broke in between. Okay. So now let us talk about Eway Bill. When you sum up Eway Bill, it is compulsorily to file when the goods are being transferred from one destination to another. It is not being filed when it is a non-motorized vehicle and the distance is less than 20 kilometers and if it is being transferred in a non-GST area. Okay. We are done for the day. We are done with the topic documentation. Thank you very much.